views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I am Carolyn with Moms for Justice. How are you guys doing? I can't hear you. You can just type away. Let me know how you guys are. That would be really awesome. I think there's some, oh, there we go. Okay. How are you guys? Let me know where you're from if you're new. Let me know the location you're at. Be really great to see you. Hi, Juliet. Hello, Gino. Rosie. Hi, Rosie. Let's see. The 222 is back, I think. I think I saw you last time. Let's see. We've got Trace. It's Shell on Heels. How are you? Awesome. So good to see you guys on this Thursday night. I got some bombs. Now, some of the bombs you might know about, but there's some stuff I didn't know. And I dug really deep into some stuff. You're going to have to bear with me because I have a lot to unpack here today. It's going to be, when you hear something, don't assume that that's all there is, because it's going to be a lot. So I want to go through it all with you guys. How are you? Hi, Rayanne. Hi, Kate. Wilma Kendall, sorry. Donna Williams. How are you? Marlene Glund. Rosa from Dallas, Texas. How are you? Donna Williams is from Kentucky. We've got Colorado in the house. How are you guys? Okay. Hi, Sybil. Welcome to the channel. So good to be on. I miss you guys. I love this time that I have with y'all. So just sit back, relax. I hope you guys got like a drink. I got my tea with psyllium husk. I know I told you guys about that one time. Hey guys, Chitter Chatter is up, my other channel with Jocelyn, where we just talk about life. Make sure you check it out. The channel link is in the description of this very video. So you can click on that. Make sure you subscribe to it. We've got 3 videos up. We do not plan to just upload videos. We are going to be a live stream channel. We want to communicate with you all. We're going to be talking about skincare, beauty, aging, parenting, the whole 9 yards. Make sure you guys subscribe to that channel and watch the videos that are up there so we can teach YouTube who we are, because I don't want to go on a live stream until we fill up our subscriber count. I think we've only been up for like a week and we've got over 400 subs so far. So that's good. It's not Moms for Justice yet, but we're working on it. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Okay, so tonight we're diving into probably one of the strangest, most unexpected twists in the Adelson saga. So this involves a man who had not spoken to the Adelsons in decades. And I'm sure you guys already can guess who it is, but there's going to be a lot more because we're going to get a little bit into the politicians that knew the Adelsons and a little bit more about some dark stuff I found. So it's going to be really interesting. Follow along with me. So this man that we know is somebody who never met Dan Markel. Okay, never attended Wendy or Dan's wedding and had no involvement at all in the murder of Dan Markel. Was not a player. Nobody ever heard about him until later. So, but out of nowhere, Dr. Ben Graber He had stepped onto the main stage here in first in 2023, I believe it was, but then definitely in 2025. First, he wrote a dramatic op-ed that was basically like an opinion piece defending the Adelson family. And then he appeared again as a character witness for Donald Adelson in her trial. And yeah, so who is this guy? Well, first of all, why did he insert himself into this murder case? Okay, that's the first question I had. And then why does his story intersect with some of the most powerful political players in Southern Florida? And these are people that are like deeply intertwined with the Adelson family. Okay. So tonight I'm going to reveal for you some little hidden history, these political alliances that I found, and this decades old failing of this whole family, right? And how it connects, and how Dr. Ben Graber is connected to Adelson's, and how he ended up on her defense team in terms of being a character witness at sentencing. Okay, so that's the gist of what we're going to be doing. Now, first, let me just tell you that Dr. Ben Graber is not just a doctor, okay? He's a former state representative. He's an OBGYN and a longtime political figure in Broward County, Florida. So for decades, he floated through like political circles as a legislator, and he became a candidate, and then, you know, a recognizable name in the area. He had a lot of influence, authority, and a public image built on being like a doctor / politician. But what many people don't know is that his political roots run directly through two extremely powerful Florida families, okay? The Weinstein family, okay, which has a dynasty in Broward politics and law, and then the Adelson family, who later made international headlines for the murder of Dan Markel. So the bridges that connect these families go way back, like 40 years, okay? Now, in the 1980s and 90s, Graber was deeply connected to Weinstein, okay? A rising political star who later became a Florida state senator and then a chief judge of the 17th Judicial Circuit. Okay, that's Peter Weinstein. Graber and Weinstein, they weren't just colleagues, though. Allegedly, they were close friends for 18 years. Okay, they lived only a few houses apart in Coral Springs. Okay, they raised money for each other. They built their political futures side by side. You know, they were friends, according to what I found. So during this era, the Weinsteins had another close family in their orbit, and that was the Adelson family. Now, Peter Weinstein became the godfather to Wendy Adelson. Now, there's a lot of people that still say, that's impossible, they're Jewish. No, it's not. Okay, so first of all, we know now that it was the Markels, or, you know, more specifically, Dan Markel, that was a devout Jewish man, okay? And though the Adelsons are Jewish, they really were not devout, and they really didn't follow the rules like a lot of Jewish people do, okay? So it's very believable to me that, you know, hey, I'm going to, you know, ordain you her godfather. I don't think they really cared about, you know, what was right, what was wrong in the Jewish faith. We know this to be true because Charlie himself had admitted on wiretap recordings that Wendy was, in fact, his goddaughter. So, as far as I'm concerned, it is a fact, okay, based on what I found. So, okay, so they created, though, the Weinsteins and Adelsons, they created like a meaningful bond as families together. And this lasted generations. Okay. This was a social political world that Graeber came from. Judges, doctors, political campaigns, powerful connections in Broward County that would obviously include a dentist, right? So the thing is, guys, is that they were all friends at one point, all three of them. Okay. So everything changed in 1996. Graeber decided to run for Congress in a very crowded Democratic race against Peter Weinstein, Robert Wexler, and another minor candidate. I'm going to play for you his little campaign thing, just, to give you a little gist of what we're talking about here, okay? Here you go.
Hi, I'm Ben Graeber, a proud Democrat running to be your congressman. As state representative, county commissioner, and mayor of Broward County, I have nearly 2 decades of experience getting things done here in South Florida. Too many in Congress have forgotten just how important results are. Too many in Congress have put their own interests before the best interests of this country. I'm Ben Graeber, and I approve this message because I want to put you first.
Okay, so there was like a little video he put out back then. Looks a lot younger there, right? Anyway, this campaign race for the Democratic Party was pretty brutal. And Weinstein's campaign sent, according to Ben Graeber, Weinstein's campaign sent negative mailers out accusing Graeber of being beholden to hospitals and other doctors. And Graeber became like really furious over this. He called Weinstein's tactics lies and innuendo. And he said Weinstein was, quote, willing to do anything at all costs to win. So Graeber loses this campaign, okay? And instead of endorsing his longtime friend, Peter Weinstein, he endorses the other guy, Robert Wexler, okay? This is Weinstein's now opponent because Graeber dropped out because he was losing. This caused a major rift, and not just between Graeber and Weinstein, but between their families as well, according to what I found. Now, the Adelsons, who remained very close to the Weinsteins, and keep in mind what I've read and what I've looked into is that Harvey and Peter were really close. The relationship was really established because of them. They stayed aligned with the Weinsteins, the Adelsons, okay? And Graeber was essentially pushed out of this circle. And from that point on, Graeber had no contact with the Adelsons for over 25 years after this. Okay? So, this next section I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to leave that storyline because I'm going to go back to it because there's more later on that. But I'm going to insert what I found when I dug a little deeper on Ben Graeber. Okay? Let me pull up everything I have here. How are you all? Yeah, I say okay a lot. Sorry, Mary Beth. I'm working on it. I do a lot of things that are annoying, actually. But, there's always something, right? Somebody always has something. Okay. So, I found this website that has like all this compiled information on Ben Graeber. I want to warn you before I start talking about this, that this could be triggering. It involves children. It involves, abuse. So if that is something that is going to trigger you or upset you, I would totally understand if you want to sign off and come back on in like 15 minutes. Okay. So in December 1988, a father of 7, a man described as church-going, a hardworking provider, was arrested on charges of sexually abusing 4 of his 5 daughters, okay? This included one who had an abortion 2 years before in 1986. She was only 10 years old when she got this abortion. So this father brings his 10-year-old in, arranges to have this abortion in 1986. The case then resurfaces after he brings that same child, who's now 12, to an emergency room at the North Beach Hospital. This was reportedly the same girl who had obtained the abortion 2 years earlier. Okay, the 29-year-old father was then charged with 4 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, and then 1 additional charge of sexual battery. Police later revealed that over a 2-year period, he had sexual relations with the daughter who had become pregnant 2 years before, as well as 3 other daughters under the age of 10. I know this is brutal. I am so sorry. It's horrible. Eventually, all 5 girls who are age 12, 10, 8, 7, and 3 were examined at a sexual assault treatment center in Fort Lauderdale and was found to have been sexually abused. The children were removed from the home and placed in their grandparents' custody. The mother of these girls, who was age 26 at the time, was aware of some of the abuse but was never charged, which is a whole other ball of wax that makes me very mad. According to the police report, the mother did not tell the doctor who performed the abortion that the pregnancy resulted from incest. Police said she did tell them that she knew that the father was the one abusing the children. When police asked her to identify the physician, she said she couldn't remember his name, but took them to the abortion clinic on Sample Road, which by then appeared to be vacant. Here's a disturbing part. Even in the 1980s, physicians, they were legally and ethically obligated to report suspected child abuse, okay? And police stated plainly, and I quote, "If a physician performs an abortion on a 10-year-old girl, there's no doubt in my mind he should have suspected that something was wrong and that she had been abused." They emphasized that the doctor would have no reasonable way not to suspect sexual abuse in such a case, and that failing to report it violates both law and medical ethics. So, but then, well, that's a whole other different, I'll go into that in 1 second. These incidents still are, the doctor, guys, is Dr. Graber, Dr. Benjamin Graber. Okay, now, I found on here, I'm going to show you, it's abortiondocs.org. This here is where I found all my information. And if I scroll down here, there's all these documents here about the father being charged for abusing the daughters. Okay, now there is another really disturbing story here that relates to him. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. 1 second. If I open the first document, this is from the Sun Sentinel. Sentinel? Is that how I say it? Am I saying it wrong? Let's see. I want to find the one about the tenant. Hold on. Give me a second. Not this one. Okay, so it's not that one. So protesters were calling for him to resign from that campaign because of his connection because he never ended up getting charged. Now, these are, he was never in any trouble for any of this. But, I'm just giving you the goods. I mean, he performed an abortion on a 10-year-old girl, and he never reported or even contacted the police and said, hey, you should look into this. There might be something going on. Does that connect? Does that have anything to do with the Dan Markel murder? No, but this is the person that the Adelsons and the Weinsteins were hanging out with. Okay? And I just said, okay, again. All right, so I want to find you this other article, which is going to blow your mind. All right, first over here, if you haven't read this on the Florida politics page, there is an article here about, well, let me just read it to you. Let's set the record straight on the opinion piece authored by Ben Graber in the Tallahassee Democrat. Here's the background. Authorities have named multiple members of the family as involved in the 2014 murder of FSU law professor Dan Markel, including Wendy, the victim's ex-wife, along with her brother Charlie, who was convicted of the murder in November, and her mother Donna, who was arrested while trying to flee to a non-extradition country about a week later. Graber represented himself as a friend of the Adelson family for 40 years. Not so. Okay? Graber had no personal contact with the Adelson family for decades, 25 plus years, prior to penning a misguided attestation, I cannot speak today, of their collective innocence. In fact, before Graber reached out to Harvey last week to offer his assistance, he had to contact another person to get Harvey's number. I mean, he didn't even know how to reach him, right? Graber never met Dan Markel. He was not invited to Dan and Wendy's wedding. Graber was not in contact with any Adelson during the duration of Wendy's marriage. In other words, Graber was not a 40-year friend. Rather, he's a former friend who only days ago reconnected after a lengthy and politically complicated hiatus from contact. And it gets weirder from there. Graber's narrative about the true motive for the murder, what he describes as a twisted love triangle between Charlie, Catherine Magbanua, convicted of her role as middleman in the conspiracy, and Sigfredo Garcia, convicted for shooting Markel, is a figment of Graber's imagination and directly contradicts the sworn testimony of Charlie Adelson, the defendant himself. Okay, so there's a little bit of that. Graber keeps referring to it as a love triangle story. It reads like the family's attempt to find or workshop an alternative defense for Donna. In Graber's story, Garcia was jealous of Katie's relationship with Charlie, so he set out to kill Charlie's sister's ex-husband in order to get Charlie pinned for the crime. I mean, this guy went to great lengths. He went to great lengths to speak out. Here's his op-ed. Let me read that. Okay, here we go. Actually, one second. I should be able to get to this. Where are you? Where did you go? All right, I'm not pulling it up now. Hold on a second. Let me look over here. Now, let me explain to you guys the tenant. I've got to find the tenant. Where are you? No. Nope. All right, I think I found it. Okay. Now, you guys still with me? Here we go. So Graber arranged to sublease the office that he was using to another abortionist by the name of Vladimir Rosenthal. He owned the Today's Women's Medical Center abortion clinic in South Florida. The Miami Herald had earlier reported that several former employees of Rosenthal, the tenant, went to the Herald complaining that the conditions at Rosenthal's clinics were not good for patients. The employees showed the paper records that Rosenthal was paying them commission to sell anesthesia at the door. The state inspected Rosenthal's abortion clinic and found several obscene pictures of unconscious women with their legs apart, belonging to Rosenthal's male nurse. Employees said that they were fired when Rosenthal was told that they had complained about the conditions at the clinic to the National Abortion Federation. Despite the fact that the above allegations were reported in South Florida newspapers and on record with the State Department of Professional Regulations, Graber chose Rosenthal to sublease his office. In a letter explaining to the owner of the building why Graber chose to sublease the facility to Rosenthal, Graber described Rosenthal as an excellent tenant who has been successfully in practice for a number of years. So, pretty shady stuff. Okay, so all these incidents are, sitting in the background of his career. Pretty, I was so upset when I read about those little kids. So while Graber drifted away, the Weinstein-Adelson relationship only deepened. And Peter Weinstein, as being godfather to Wendy Adelson, continued to remain close to the family. In the next generation, you've got Charlie Adelson as a groomsman at the wedding of Weinstein's son, Michael, and Michael Weinstein later becoming Charlie's lawyer after Dan Markel's murder. This helped relay messages through Garcia's attorney to reassure Magbanua that the family would not talk. So this is important. The Weinsteins and the Adelsons remain tightly aligned. Graber was completely outside the circle. So answer me this, how does a man estranged from this life that he once had, these friendships he once had, how does he stay estranged and then suddenly appear promoting a story that benefits Donna Adelson, right? Then not long after Donna was arrested and completely out of the blue, he writes that op-ed defending the Adelson family and talking about how it was, now he throws Charlie under the bus, but he pretty much talks about the Adelsons being good people. Oh, where is that op-ed? Hold on a second. It keeps disappearing on me, and I had it up before. Some of you might have already read it, the op-ed. Let's see. A 40-year friend of the family. No, more like hasn't seen them in 25 years. Let's see if I can pull it up now. Okay. I have it right here. All right, so it starts here. When Florida State University law professor Dan Markel was killed, it was a tragic, shockful, and awful event. The young law professor, husband, father, son, and brother of a respected Jewish family from Canada, married Wendy Adelson, also a mother, daughter, sister, and a law professor from a successful, loving Jewish family from Coral Springs. It seemed like a fairy tale wedding. Yeah, one you didn't go to, buddy. Fairy tale wedding of perfect children from perfect families who had two perfect sons of their own. Life's stresses, however, prevailed. Stressful jobs attained by ambitious young attorneys trying to balance professional and family life became unbearable. Their individual needs and goals came into conflict. The family's growth added to the stress and to the ultimate need for the two to divorce. This guy. Then came the challenges of co-parenting. How would he know this? He hasn't been around. Challenges of co-parenting and aloneness, which comes when the family members live far away and cannot assist. Financial stresses also lead to a need for more income and better jobs to meet all the needs of their difficult life situations. That's what family is for, to help support and make life normal for the children and grandchildren. But this is not a reason nor a motive for murder in any normal situation. One must ask how this could happen. A simple solution to a complex problem is rarely correct. There are, in my opinion, many things that have been left unexplained or even discussed. The social consequences of a toxic love triangle, the psychological state of all involved, past predictable behavior to confirm the charges are valid, the inept, amateurish nature of the crime itself and all its component parts, the impact of such a crime on the grandchildren and generations to come, why educated, law-abiding, shining examples of successful citizens would change so drastically, the medical and psychological profiles of the accused as conducted by professional medical people. None of these were approached or considered. Oh my gosh. Catherine Magbanua, an attractive, educated, intelligent, independent mother of 2 children who supported herself and her children, and who is attracted to independent-minded risk takers. Sigfredo Garcia, the attractive father of Catherine's 2 children. I love it. He must got a thing for Katie, huh? Attractive father of Catherine's 2 children and her love interest, a freelancer with some money issues, crime background, anger, jealousy issues, major risk taker, and somewhat violent past behaviors. He would not marry Catherine, but was addicted to her. Charlie Adelson, a successful periodontist, a freelancer, a playboy lifestyle, risk taker, who was also addicted to Catherine. He has no history of criminal, aggressive, or violent behavior. He also refused to marry her, but could not stay away. A likely scenario not considered nor discussed. This is, guys, if anybody's just joining us, I'm reading the op-ed for Dr. Ben Graber, who stuck up for the Adelsons when he didn't even know them anymore. Like, he last talked to them 25 years ago. So, the love triangle where Catherine is the love focus of 2. I feel like I'm reading a guy who's trying to write a romance novel. The love triangle where Catherine is the love focus of 2 competing macho men, where she controls the information to both because they do not talk to each other. She plays one against the other, using jealousy and competition to get what she needs. From Sigfredo, she wants love and devotion for herself and children. From Charlie, she wants love and devotion, security and gifts, and possibly marriage or a way out of her predicament in life. This is common in toxic love triangles. Charlie loves Catherine and confides in her and wants to impress her with tough talk, money, and family gossip about where he can be the hero of the family. She comforts him. Sigfredo is a macho guy who is a leader, bully, and fearsome figure who will and has hurt people. He has a friend in a gang, Luis Rivera, and he does business with them. He is known. Charlie has delusions of grandeur and believes he can take on anyone, even Sigfredo. And they almost came to blows. Catherine shut him down by saying he is no match for Sigfredo, a masculine put-down. This just fuels the fire. Who knows what she told Sigfredo? Maybe that she loves him, but Charlie is a better provider for her and their sons? Sigfredo and Luis Rivera hang out together. They discuss their women, fears, thoughts, and they plot together. I'm dying right now. Guys, they are sociopathic. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Their thoughts processes are very different than the average person. They are sociopathic. Perhaps they concluded after hearing about the problems with Dan Markel that they could get rid of Charlie by killing his brother-in-law and setting up Charlie to take the fall. After all, who would ever connect them to this action? After 2 attempts, they clumsily left an obvious trail and were caught. They immediately implicated the periodontist as the instigator. But why did they not collect the pay before the action? Not even a deposit. They trusted him? I don't believe so. They told Catherine what they did, and she told Charlie. He probably figured that they would also kill him. Sigfredo had threatened him beforehand. Catherine probably said maybe she can buy them off. Charlie told her in confidence about the $1 million they were willing to pay Dan Markel earlier in their relationship. She knew he had money. She accepted $138,000 in stapled bills from Charlie. She then took the money and split it 3 ways with the killers and never told Charlie she took 1/3 for herself. He was still addicted to her and kept giving her things and money. Meanwhile, the killers were tracked down and caught and tried. Sigfredo was the motivated killer. In his warped mind, he shot Dan Markel, but it was done with Charlie in mind. It was a symbolic killing of his rival for Catherine, whom he despised. It was not done by Lewis, the gang friend, who would be considered the more experienced one. Well, Stephen Webster recently told us that it's Sigfredo Garcia. That's the real meanie. Oh, gosh. Sigfredo was the motivated killer. In his warped mind, he shot Dan Markel, but it was done with Charlie in mind. Oh, I said that already. Catherine was eventually convicted as the organizer and Charlie as the plotter. But would Charlie, an educated, meticulous person who dots every I, staple his money together, make such an absurd and clumsy plan to kill someone, then tell them he would pay them later? I don't think so, he says. I do think so. Because I read today, and it's alleged that he had political friends of the Adelsons get him into school and get his degree for him. Just saying. All right, Charlie may be a risk taker, but he is not a killer or a criminal at all, and never has been, he says. The evening of Dan Markel's killing, Catherine went to his house, and he was afraid for his own safety, even carrying an open pistol for protection. Sigfredo, on the other hand, is a natural-born killer. Catherine is a manipulative woman with motives for these actions and a toxic love triangle that motivates her behavior. And Rivera has a criminal history and societal complexities. Donna Adelson is a 73-year-old grandmother who raised her children to be model citizens, students, humanitarians, and respectful. I've known Donna for 40 years. No, you haven't, liar. That's a lie. I just proved it's a lie. He goes on to say, I trust her, know her, and observed her in many social situations. She never lost her temper, always was a peacemaker, a supporter of others. She is not a sociopath or a ringleader. She is not vindictive, hateful, or mean in any way. I have had Sabbath dinner with our families, spent social activities, temple activities, and family events together. She was part of my inner circle of trust. She was a teacher, devoted mother, wife, and friend to all, not a manipulative killer as described. I would have trusted her with my family and children. I trusted her advice, which was always sound, logical, and well-intentioned. This is not the Donna Adelson they describe. Medically now, she is frail, emotionally distraught, and drained. She's a threat to no person, but the system is a threat to her health and life. It may kill her before a trial can occur. Her punishment is cruel, beyond the pale, and misguided. She is innocent, and proper accommodation for her well-being must be provided. Once the expert in societal, psychological, and medical profiles express their opinions legally, it may well paint a different picture of this tragedy. He goes on to say, I will personally attest to her positive character traits from 40 years of knowing her well, and as a medical professional, associate professor of OBGYN, former Florida State Representative, Broward County Commissioner, and Broward County Mayor in the past, Donna should be treated better. Ugh. Okay, so there's the op-ed, y'all. What'd you guys think? Seriously, I bet you that they reached out, again, just an opinion, that they reached out and asked for his help. And no problem. Offering help probably was written by the attorneys, could have been written by Donna, like somebody just said. Absolutely. Right? So, main things I want to point out here are he's been a 40-year friend. That's what he said in the op-ed. He knows the true motive behind the murder. Donna and her children are innocent, and the murder was caused by a love triangle between Charlie Garcia and Magbanua. But he never met Dan Markel. He wasn't invited to the wedding. He had not spoken to Adelson's in 25 years. He had to ask somebody for Harvey's phone number from somebody else. He had no insight into the marriage of Wendy and Dan. So you know what? If you don't know what was going on in that marriage, his love triangle motive contradicts every piece of evidence. And as we all know, the jury thought so too when it came to Katie, Sigfredo, and Charlie. His story is completely illogical, people. Unfounded, figment of his imagination. So, is he a useful idiot that's just hungry to be relevant? Tell me what you guys think. Now, I'm not going to say this out loud, but I had a thought in my mind about this guy. I'm trying to think how I could say it without getting sued. You know what? Use your imagination. You know, just what is the relationship? What is the relationship? And this is a question between Donna Adelson and Dr. Ben Graber. Thanks, guys. Thank you for accepting me for my little faults. I appreciate it. I do a lot of lip smacking. I drink my drinks in the mics. It annoys people sometimes. I say, okay, what do you think? Anyways, I know it's really hard. I'm trying though. I don't like them either. Like it's a bad habit I have. I'm working on it. So what do you guys think? Why do you think he wrote that op-ed? And do you think that maybe there's more to a relationship? I'm wondering what you guys think. Anyway, I think Donna's camp needed someone not directly tied to the family to float an alternative motive before her sentencing. That's what I think. To see if the public or the legal community would buy it. So I think they kind of used him as bait, threw him out there with this op-ed, you know? And it needed to be somebody that had a title to his name, maybe a political credential, some sort of appearance of expertise. He's a doctor. But here's the thing, guys. Why would you pick him? It's not hard to find all the disgusting stuff I found. If anything, that was the best you could do. A guy who aborted a baby from a 10-year-old who was being sexually abused by her father. Rented out another abortion clinic to somebody that was taking pictures of unconscious women nude with their legs apart. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Okay, so let's play. All right, so the biggest thing for me, he's called as the first character witness for her sentencing. He was their first choice. So I want to play it. I want to play it again. I'll put the subtitles on. Let's play it and watch together. And then let's chat about whatever you guys want to chat about. Get your questions ready for me. Send them on over. That would be really awesome. Ready? Let's play some of this, guys. I want to listen to it again. Here we go.
If you're examining the witness, or is he reading a statement?
He's going to present a statement, Judge.
Dr. Graber, you may proceed at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak on behalf of Donna Adelson. If I can, let me just brief description of who I am, my background. I've been a friend of the Adelson family since 1979. The first 20 years I knew them, we were actively engaged in many activities. The last 20 years, I haven't seen them that much until this trial became apparent to me. And my background is I'm a medical doctor practicing obstetrics and gynecology, 45 years here in Florida. I was also a state legislature from 1988 to 96, representing Coral Springs and parts of Broward County. I was the county commissioner in Broward County and mayor of Broward County for 1 year in 2006. Also a professor at the University of Florida Medical School and the University of Miami Medical School in clinical OBGYN. And I'm here to speak today on behalf of Donna Adelson, the person I've known for a great deal of time. Hi Donna. Just want to say hi. I'm sorry I can't be there to hug you. And I'm sorry we didn't get to have that dinner after your trial was over. But I'm here to, on your behalf, to let you know that you have friends, and I believe in you. Let me say that, Tom, I never thought we'd be here at this situation when I first met you. It was a total shock to me and to our families. And it's a tragedy for me to have to be here to talk about this.
What are you crying
over? I feel
over?
very bad for your family, for the Martell family, for the tragedy everyone's experiencing. To me, I've been following this for 2 years. It appears to be a dissolution of two families. My background is similar in many ways to both families. I grew with Martell. I'm the son of Holocaust survivors. I actually was born in Germany at a displaced persons camp. Came to the United States at the age of 18 months. So like the boys, Lincoln and Benjamin, I don't have a lot of recollection from the first beginning of my time in the United States, but they don't have the recollection of their father, which is very sad to me. But they do have families, and I had family. And we have to learn a great deal from our tragedies how to come back into life. My distress is not just for Donna and the Adelsons, but for the Martells as well, and especially for 3 generations of each family, which I see in tragic downward swing. And yet, I did meet Lincoln and Benjamin at the bar mitzvah last year, and I got to meet those 2 boys, wonderful boys. Unfortunately, I never got to meet Dan Martell, but I have read many of his articles. Very impressive, very brilliant, very talented man who makes some very good points about the law and about compassion in the law, which he felt could be improved. And I agree with that. So part of what I'd like to say today is basically that I do believe that Donna is a victim of not just circumstance, but has been actively exploited by parties involved in this case. I believe she was exploited by her son. Knowing Donna, who was the youngest child in her family, and knowing her mother, and how close she was with her mother, and understanding their love and need for family, it makes no sense to me that she would pursue an activity that will destroy 2 families like it has. However, having known her son and some of his issues, I believe Donna,
I'd sure love some banana bread right now.
To be a loving mother, who's subdued by guilt, by silence, by denial, and perhaps even active exploitation, and used for activities she had no part of. So I believe she's innocent on all 3 counts, even though she was found guilty on all 3 counts. Part of my understanding is also that the victims here are both families, and to watch the hate and the stress and the vengeance I see is a terrible thing to look at. As Holocaust survivors, you'd think we would understand that better, how damaging it is to families. I would have to say, my background, I grew up in the Bronx, went to the public school system.
So?
I actually was at Queens College when Donna was there, but I didn't know her. She graduated a year after I did. My wife Sandy graduated from Queens College as well. And in Coral Springs, we met up after being there a while, new young families, professionals trying to build a life, having children, building a community, which we did. So to see this situation occur, to me, is devastating in many aspects. As a legislator, I can tell you that we see things in law. Even though I'm a doctor and I was chairman of healthcare, I was a Democrat, majority leader, and I sat on Judiciary Committee for 2 years. I understand the laws. Even wrote some of the sentencing guidelines and participated in passing them at that time. And what I learned over the years is that I had the privilege of passing many laws, because I was a leader and was able to work both sides. So many of my laws exist in the books. I get calls from judges periodically asking me about the intent of the law when I wrote it, because they have a case and it's come down to what did you intend to happen from this law. And they would ask my opinion, and they would use that information. So I'd like to look a little bit about the intent of the judicial guidelines for sentencing. I think the life without parole is a very harsh sentence. And that was not the intent, was to punish domestic cases with that, but the drug dealers and organized crime and dangers to the public. But I think it's been switched over to be used in conspiracy theories against the average citizen, which is not the intent of the law, in my opinion. Second of all, I think that it's unfortunate that this case has gone into so many new victims. And we've already, you have 4 victims who have been found guilty of murder. 2 have committed the murder, maybe 1. The other are conspiracy theories. And I would believe that I would suggest that needs to be reviewed by the legislature. That's my opinion. Now, in this case...
We don't care.
Dr. Graber, before you continue, is this being offered as character? Because he is not an expert on the law.
Yeah, because you're rambling.
Very well. You may continue, Doctor.
Yes, that's my opinion from my background. It's not, I'm not giving a professional opinion. I'm giving my personal opinion from experience. What I'm asking the court today is, to me, the court, the judicial system, the power of the judicial system is in the judge. And it is the judge who is the presenter, or safety net for the public, to show some compassion when the cold written law, with every box checked off, shows no compassion. Where does the compassion come from? It should come from the judge, it should come from the jury.
This is the best they could do.
That's something we have to consider. So at this point, what I'm saying is that I believe Donna Adelson was a 5-star mother, did everything she could do for her kids, for her family, for her community. She has no bad intentions. She's not a leader, she's a baby in her family. She's always been a follower. Yes, she makes noise and she complains, but that's not her behavior. This is not her profile. So I understand that nothing can be changed.
Like, I gotta clean that toilet.
I believe she is innocent of these 3 counts, and we believe her. With that, I would have to say, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and I think this is one of those cases, and it's unfortunate. For the families, I would ask, beg them, think about the 2 boys. Dad is not here, But a piece of him was here, and those two boys. And their future, they're both teenagers now. Their future depends a lot on what's going on here, and how they're going to be perceived in the future, and how they will interpret the future based on this. So I think it's time for some compassion, some understanding, and forgiving.
I can't share that.
Perhaps it's time to take a step back and let everyone heal from this process. With that, I say to you, Donna, Samuel and I love you, we support you and the family, and we hope you the best. God bless you. And Your Honor, thank you for letting me speak.
Let's have
All
an
right,
examination
I
for
won't-
the witness.
No, Judge.
Did I torture you enough?
That was raised
Whoa, okay.
by the
I love Judge Everett. I could listen to him all day. Oh my gosh, you guys make me laugh. There was a really funny one on there, but I wasn't going to share it because it's not politically correct. I can't do that, but it definitely made me laugh. Thank you. Yes, no soup for you, Donna. Pumpkin Porter says, yes, no soup for you. She's like, I got to clean that toilet when I get back back to the annex. Oh my gosh, her face. Dude, I've been making some funny videos on Donna, Sarah Boone, Dahlia DiPolito, and Catherine Magbanua. And I'll be putting those up on my member stuff because my members are probably waiting for some new stuff. I've got it coming your way, and it's going to be really funny. Anyway, Peter Weinstein. Let's talk about him a little bit. You know, here's what I know about Peter Weinstein. I know, I can't stop laughing. My face. Oh my gosh. Well, the comment I laughed on is in the chat. So you can scroll up and you can find it. But I wasn't going to put it on the screen because I don't want to get in trouble. But everybody can see it if they want to see it. That's a really good question. You know what? Bluebell said, did you deliver Donna's babies? Maybe. That I don't know. Who was the doctor that delivered Wendy? Oh my gosh. You guys, I'll tell you, every time I get on here with you guys, there's a few of you that you'll throw something out there and I'm just, I literally want to pee my pants. It's so funny. All right, Peter Weinstein. What do we know about him? What was I able to find out about him? I got to be really careful with what I say. So Peter is longtime fixture in Florida law and politics, celebrated as a senator's senator, a judge's judge. Okay, he began his career in New York as an Army legal officer and assistant DA, earning an Army Commendation Medal before moving to Florida. Joined Broward State Attorney's Office and became a very successful trial lawyer. He was elected to the Florida Senate, and he served 14 years, rising to Senate Majority Leader and chairing key judiciary committees while championing consumer protection and judicial reform. Appointed to the Circuit Court in 1997, he served 21 years as a judge, including 6 as chief judge of the new Broward Courthouse and established the Broward Veterans Court. He comes from a family steeped in public service, and his father and brother were both prominent New York legislators and judges, and is widely regarded by colleagues, bar leaders, and his own family as fair, diplomatic, humorous, and deeply respected as a public servant. And he is married to his accomplished wife, Dr. Barbara Weinstein. Okay, so the public record shows that Peter Weinstein had a long-standing personal relationship with the Adelson family. Wendy, as we all know, is reportedly his goddaughter. Harvey is described in media as a close friend and supporter of Weinstein's political career. It is less clear whether Weinstein provided formal legal representation to the family or served in a strictly personal capacity. Now, we do know his son represented Charlie for a short time. Okay, so I was looking up stuff on Peter Weinstein, right? I found some guy some guy named Todd Watson who put out a bunch of videos on how he had been wronged, and he like called up certain people, like high-powered people in Miami or the Broward County area, and was leaving them voicemails and recording them. And one of them was for Peter Weinstein, and it was so funny. I'll play it for you guys. What I found before, to give you some context, and it's confusing. Before I play you the message, I'll give you some context about who this guy is. So there's a voicemail. His name is Todd Edward Watson. And in that message, Watson accuses several Broward County officials, including Judge Peter Weinstein, of a long list of misconduct. Okay. These are the allegations, but not verified facts. Okay. Watson claims that officials fabricated transcripts, pressured an informant, destroyed evidence, covered up a murder, and even that state's attorney Michael Satz authorized a firebombing of his office, of Todd Watson's office. He said he sought help from Weinstein and instead experienced retaliation. It's really weird. Again, these statements are Watson's claims from, and I got it from the voicemail. I tried to look up some more, but I'm just summarizing what I was able to find. So let me get you the this. I think the guy's probably crazy, and Weinstein didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge. But the guy was really he was in prison. He got out of prison, and he started leaving voicemails for all these people and recording it and putting it up. And he has one that's just for Peter Weinstein. So let me get it for you. Oh gosh, this guy cracked me up. You guys are probably going to crack me up when you hear it. So I'm going to try to... Okay, here we go. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? Wait, hold on. This is a phone call that he made, and it's on YouTube, so I can show it.
Cheers.
Hi, this is Stacy. You have reached the office of Chief Judge Peter Weinstein. I'm not available at the moment. If you would, please leave a brief message, including your phone number, and I will return your call just as soon as possible. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Yeah, hi, this message is for Peter Weinstein. This is Todd Edward Watson. This phone call is being recorded and will be sent to the FBI and social media websites. Peter, how are you? You know exactly what time it is. I'm calling regarding your colluding criminal conducts. I wrote to you explaining all the criminal conducts and your Chief Justice, and I was seeking some sort of assistance from you as far as the truth-seeking process to this. And instead of doing that, you contacted Century, the warden there, and, you know, basically begged him to punish me for my efforts of truth and justice, my efforts of exercising my constitutionally protected rights and liberties. Okay, and you might think on that one that, okay, well, you know, they can't get me on the colluding criminal part of it. But, you know, then you signed off on the state's emergency motion. I was so glad to see that you did that, Pete, because that was basically, you might as well have just wrote a confession to the FBI. That was beautiful. But anyway, my phone number is 954-218-4850. You're welcome to call me back. Give me your opinion on these things, because I'm going to be stating it to everybody that you're a criminal, that you have colluded in these crimes, such as Michael Satz authorizing the firebombing of my office to cover up a murder of a 19-year-old whose parents still to this day don't have any idea the truth to how and why their child died. You know, little things like that. Fabricating transcripts, fabricating official documents involving the health department, the Florida bar. Yeah, this is going to get messy, Pete. But anyway, listen, truth and justice, that's what we're seeking here, right? Okay. And I know that I'm definitely seeking it. So I'm not going to stop until that happens. Oh, and I have a motion right now. I was able to speak to the informant because I have a trial proceeding, and the informant is my witness. Isn't that great? And he explained to me how when the cops found out that he came forward and confessed that he was forced to lie, I'm innocent, they came back to his house making up lies as they went along, while they were threatening him, saying, "Hey, you got to say that Todd left $10,000 on your doorstep." They changed that lie to no, some unidentified person offered you $10,000. And he also shared with me that the recording that did in fact exonerate me, that was concealed and destroyed, was located in the visor area. That would have been digital recorder 100118958. Anyway, Pete, listen, I can't wait to talk to you. If you don't call me, I'm going to call you Wednesday afternoon to get a time that's convenient for you to talk to me. Okay? Once again, this is going to the FBI and social media websites. Okay? Truth and justice, Pete.
Truth and justice, Pete. Okay, so let me just show you guys the channel so that you can see that it was really on YouTube. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. Todd Watson. Okay, Todd Watson put this up. It's called Todd Watson Exposes Corruption, Chief Judge Peter Weinstein. You know, I don't know how true it is. The guy could be a quack for all I know. But apparently somebody was murdered. What I read is that it had to do with a clinic that was giving out pain pills. And apparently the doctor that prescribed the pain pills or opiates had Alzheimer's. And this 19-year-old went in there and got some sort of script for pain pills and then died, overdosed. And now that's what he was referring to when he said a 19-year-old. You got to explain to the parents of a 19-year-old, whatever. I don't know. I looked into it. That's what I was able to find. But there's not a lot else on Peter Weinstein, but I did find that, and when I stumbled on it, I thought it was such a gem. It's so funny. And if you actually go to Todd Watson's website, he's attacking a bunch of Broward County people that are high up, you know, the DA, all of them. And he's got a call out to each one of them, and it's really interesting. So anyway, okay, so back to the Adelsons. So again, the biggest thing here is that there are people that have been involved with the Adelsons that are beneficial to the Adelsons, and they have the ability to pick up the phone and make a call and to help out anybody. Did they? I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm certainly not going to say that, yes, it's a fact, you know, that's what happened. But it's definitely something that is going around in circles. People are talking about it. You know what I mean? You guys got any questions for me? Push them over here. Come on, let's go. Questions, comments. The pill mill. I'll find out for you, Crunchy. I'll find out. For sure. Well, do I know? So Pumpkin Porter says, so Donna and Harvey donated to Weinstein. Well, it's always just been talked about that they were supportive of Peter Weinstein. Did they donate? I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm going to say I would think that they would. And I would think that they would have donated a lot because they were super close. You know, the Florida crimes become more and more interesting to me as time goes on. I find that those are, you know, there's another one that just happened, another Florida crime. I'm trying to think of what it was, but like, you know, I've been going over Denise Williams and Brian Winchester. I want to like cover Dahlia DiPolito again, because you know what? She's over there in Lowell with Catherine McBanoa and Sarah Boone. I mean, the Sarah Boone case, right? What a whack, right? Total whack. A lot of Florida cases. I just find them interesting. There's another case also. It was Seth Jackson. He was, I think, out of the Tampa area. He was a bunch of, like, sorry, but trailer trash kids that had nothing better to do but to hang around and do drugs. you know, killed this kid. Michael, somebody killed him. I forgot his name off the, there's so many, and I did a video on it once. I just forgot his name. Michael Bardo. That case is riveting. You know, Casey Anthony case, right? Incredible trial to follow. So much we can learn from that trial. The not guilty verdict was a huge shocker in that one, right? In Casey Anthony. Other Florida cases. Shanna Gardner. Hold on. I know that name. Is that the one that killed her boyfriend and the really good looking guy? And like she's like a total psycho. I could be thinking of a different. Oh, I'm thinking of Shayna Hubers. No, okay, Shayna Gardner. Yeah, that's a current case, right? Okay, yeah, okay. And if somebody wanted me to cover, oh, I am covering Courtney Clenny, by the way. I already have a video up of her, and I'm going to be like gavel to gavel with her. And Corey Richens, right? Corey Richens is going to be a big one that's coming up. Definitely a good one. I'm looking at John Benet Ramsey again. Oh, that case, every time I look into that case, I get upset and then I get frustrated and then I just leave. I love this. Yeah. So Rick says a lot we can learn. Don't get into a suitcase. Don't put duct tape over your kid's mouth and don't hire a hitman. All right. Do you think the Adelsons worked Best Buy as they coded in the TV? Perhaps they thought they got the Best Buy on getting rid of Dan and not having to pay out the $1 million broad. I do. My answer is yes to all of it. Melanie McGuire from Jersey. Yes, I remember her. Oh my gosh. So I used to live in Jersey. I used to live in the Freehold area of Jersey. In Woodbridge was like literally 20 minutes away. And she lived in Jersey. And she killed her husband, dismembered him, and put him in a suitcase. And it was floating, I think, in North Carolina or Virginia. And she was having an affair. And she was a fertility nurse. And she was having an affair with the doctor. I remember that. Guys, did you subscribe to Chitter Chatter yet? My other channel with Jocelyn. Some of you do like Jocelyn. And if you did, make sure you're subscribing and watching the videos because we want to do a live soon. We want to get you all on there. Also, did you like this video? Like sometimes we forget. We get on and we forget. And it helps the channel out. And I so appreciate it. You can also, there's membership if you want to join membership. That's on there too. She got caught with an easy pass. Yeah, I think I do remember that. Her case is on Court TV if you guys want to rewatch it. You know they have all these old cases on Court TV that you can watch? A couple really good ones on there. Remember that kid back in the day? He was like a vampire. He thought he was a vampire. And he killed this girl's parents. Crazy. There's so many crazy people out there. Insane. I don't think Lizzie Borden was in Florida. Yes. Well, yes, pretty much. Is the channel just mine now? So, yeah, I mean, there's a story behind that and everything, but, you know, I started it. She's my best friend and everything, but I really think that me and her, are much stronger when we're talking about like our regular everyday conversations kind of a thing. And that's okay. You know, that's okay. I really love true crime and she doesn't have the time, Jocelyn, to put into the true crime. But it was really important for me to keep her on something with me. So we formed Chitter Chatter, and it has been great. Like, it's so like just so easy to turn everything on and just start talking. And you know, I prepare a lot, and I watch true crime like morning, noon, and night. So that's like my thing. Ugh, the Homolka, Carla Homolka and Paul Bernardo. Wow. Ken and Barbie killers. They're out of Canada. I think St. Catharines in Canada. I know that case so well. It is like, that girl is crazy, and she's out. She made like a deal with the devil, right? She's out. She only served like 7 years in prison for killing girls. She took part in the sexual torture and murder of girls. And they only knew that by getting videotapes that showed she participated in the act. And they only got those tapes after they made the deal. It's totally messed up. Yeah. Carla Homolka is free because she had the deal of a lifetime. She served her time and she's out. And the thing is, she has kids. And there's videos of people following her around. Like, she shouldn't be allowed near an elementary school at all. You shouldn't be around kids at all. Yes, she killed, I almost forgot about that. And she killed her own sister. Horrible. So Wendy, guys, so we heard that the judgeship, is that what it's called? The judgeship? Sarah Dugan did not get it. And then there was supposed to be a grand jury meeting yesterday, but I've heard nothing. Nada. Zippo. Has anybody heard anything that I haven't heard? Because I would think if they had put her in handcuffs, we would have all known. It would have made the news. So I don't think Wendy has been arrested. I don't know if they even talked about it. If they even talked about the Adelson case at all yesterday. Yes, I mean, let me tell you, I know all the cases. The O.J. Simpson case, you know, that was big. I followed that back then. I remember do you guys, anybody up here, like, you know, old like me? Where were you during the Bronco chase? I was in a bar in Red Bank, New Jersey. I think it was called Cheers. We had a bar called Cheers in Red Bank, New Jersey. I want to make sure that's the right name, but yeah. And there was a blues band up on the stage playing some, like, you know, blues music. It was great. There was this guy, a great guitar player named Bob Bandiera. He was on the stage. He was playing. They had the, you know, it was like it ran like a sports bar. You had TVs all around. And I remember I was in a bar on a date with some weird guy. Like, I went on a date with this weird guy and it did not work out. And this is totally a chitter chatter kind of conversation. Actually, I'm going to be talking about this. But I was on a date that I did not want to be on. I wanted out of it. I didn't know how to get rid of him. So I agreed to stay in the bar, you know, maybe another hour and have him bring me home and be like, yeah, you know, yeah, sure, I'll call you. And then I wasn't planning on calling him. And I looked up at the TVs and there's the Bronco chase going on. It was like 7 o'clock our time, Eastern time. And yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, O.J. Simpson's on TV in his Bronco. And he's got a gun to his head. And everybody is like, literally, California stopped that day. Los Angeles stopped that day. I don't think anybody worked. They stopped what they were doing and they turned on their TVs or they went outside and watched the Bronco go by. Okay, is this a joke? I was in a bar in New Jersey called Jugs and Mugs. Is that, I don't even know a bar that name. And I knew all the bars in Jersey. Oh my gosh, this guy, he was so weird. He was one of those dates. I was young. I was in my 20s. And it was one of those dates where I met him a couple days beforehand. And he looked good in the bar because it was dark. He looked good in the bar. And then, oh, if you want to hear the rest of the story, go. I'm not going to give it away because I'm going to talk about this date on Chitter Chatter. Because we're doing a worst dates episode. So it's so funny that we talked about O.J. Simpson because and that wasn't really the actual night. Like I actually went on a date with him twice, gave him one more shot. But yeah. So anyway, I was busy watching the TV because anything was more interesting than the guy that I was with. No offense. Was the Bada Bing even open then? The Bada Bing. I remember that bar. Oh, okay. I never heard of that bar in Jersey. All right. Everybody right now type the name of the funniest sounding bar that is in your area or you go to because there's always funny names of bars, right? And when I was in a band, I wanted to name the band Free Shots so that every time we were playing and we would be on the marquee, it would say Free Shots and then we'd get everybody coming, right? Everybody would just show up. But no, we didn't name the band Free Shots. But I thought it was a very clever name for a band. Hey, Free Shots tonight. Who's playing tonight? Free Shots. I know. Well, that's just it. I don't think it was closing time. Matt Mello says everyone looks better at closing time. No, it was just a dim bar. I was at another bar at another time, and he looked all right. And, he wouldn't leave me alone. And then I finally said, all right. Give me your number. We'll talk. And then I agreed to go out with him, and we went to this bar in Red Bank. Actually, it's not Red Bank. It's Long Branch. Long Branch. So funny. Chills and Thrills. Okay, yeah, name your bars. I'm trying to think of some funny ones that I used to work at. Let me think. Funny bar name. Okay, the Funky Monkey in Morristown, New Jersey. That was a funny one, the Funky Monkey. Hey, Ruth, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Rick goes, everyone looks better after 4 whiskeys. Oh my gosh. Dilligaffs is the name of a bar? Gulp Fiction. Chills and Thrills. Oh my gosh. All right, give me your Wendy questions, guys. Any questions about Wendy? Everybody's favorite question is, when is Wendy going to get arrested? Well, so somebody said that like a really reputable source had said that she would be arrested before Thanksgiving. I just can't think of his name because my brain is fried. But I've been reading about it, and every time I read it, I have his name in my head, and then I walk away. But apparently some guy said that before Thanksgiving, she would be arrested, and he's got an inside source and knows Jack Campbell. So that's the only good thing I heard. I wish I could play like something from Motley Crue right now, but I would get flagged for copyright, so I can't. But there's something really funny that I wanted to play when you mentioned Motley Crue. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. You know what? I can find out. No, it's not Carl Steinbeck. Well, hold on. I'll tell you the name of the person that I found out from. Hold on. I just got to not be lazy and go ahead and look it up. Send me your questions while I'm doing this. Come on, where are you? Okay, I got it. I think it's on this post I read on Reddit. Let me see. I'm reading. I'm not ignoring you. Dave Arenberg. Anybody hear of somebody named Dave Arenberg? Now I'm going to Google his name, see who he is. He said by Thanksgiving she's going to be arrested, and apparently he is. All right, Megyn Kelly had interviewed him. He was a contributor to MK True Crime. Vinnie Politan has had him on. All right, he's a Palm Beach, Florida prosecutor. David Arenberg said he expects Wendy to be charged shortly after the verdict. And then he recently said that he said she would be arrested by Thanksgiving. And then somebody went on the Reddit and said, well, he has inside knowledge from Jack Campbell. So that's my only latest thing I heard that I thought was maybe credible. So last I heard, hey Toya. So last I heard Wendy's still in Austin, and I think she kind of bluffed. I'm just saying I think she wanted people to think that she was moving, and I don't think she really moved, because I think she really does want to stay in Austin, because I don't think she wants to move those kids. Keep moving them because it's bad. Me personally, so Out and About says, at what point would you give up on Wendy trial? Heaven forbid. Honestly, it'll always be in the back of my mind, and it will always nag at me. I will never, ever, ever think that it's impossible, because look how long it took them to get the others, right? If we have to wait, what's sad is that if we have to wait, and God forbid something happens to Phil or Ruth and they don't get to see the justice. And the fact that they've gotten older now makes me feel like that the prosecution, meaning Georgia and Sarah, would work even harder to make sure it gets done. So I have a lot of high hopes. Nona. Hi, Nona. My question is, in Charlie's trial, Georgia asked Jeff when Wendy's birthday was. He answered, then she said, I'll come back to that, but she never came back to it. Why did Georgia ask that? I have no clue. No clue. But now you're making me wonder. I'm going to go back and pull it up and look at it. And then on the next live, I'll see if I found out anything. He's a very reputable guy. Now he's in private practice and being on TV, right? But he also could be saying that for, because he's very much in the media now. Yes, it was set on Surviving the Survivor, Hope. I love Ruth and Phil, and I don't even know them. And I asked Stephen Webster last week to please reach out to Ruth and to let them know that I, from Moms for Justice, would like to do something, whether it be a donation or maybe I could go on here and we could all pitch in and do something in the boy's name even. I don't know. I'm waiting for him to get back to me on that. Yeah, I know it's you, Richard. Yeah, so brightest future. Wow, he said 95% certainty she will be arrested. Well, that's a high bar. That's a high bar to make, right? So, we have just a few more days. Let's see what happens. I'll tell you right now, if that happens, guys, I'm going to be on here like within a very quick amount of time. And I know many of you will probably go to SDS or whatever. That's fine, but I'm here. I'll be here. I'll be on here. and we could chat and we could talk about it, and I'll show all the whatever footage is out there. Okay, we can't rush the prosecution. There is so much to this case. Stay tuned for where Georgia was going with that question. Yeah, I mean, I don't want them to rush, but I think that they can at least make the arrest and hold her, because it takes how long before the trial? You know, they have to prep for a trial even after the arrest. Let her sit in jail for a year. At least get her arrested. Yeah, I'd be freaking out. I'd be freaking out. Well, look, here's the other thing. I would not be freaking out if I'm innocent and I know that I'm gonna, prove my innocence. So if she really was innocent, I'd want to just, all right, fine, just come get me now. Let's get this over with, right? Oh, yeah. Gina, why are you in a timeout for... Oh, I know why you're in a timeout. Aren't you the guy? I think so. I know who you are. You started trouble sticking up for me on the STS chat. You didn't have to do that. It's very sweet of you, but... yeah, STS is a huge channel, awesome channel. They got great guests. Definitely, I understand, guys. You guys can go there for your info. I get it. Gina was upset because I had scheduled a live, and I guess they scheduled theirs at the exact same time, which is fine. I mean, what are you going to do? But thank you for sticking up for me. Jeff Lacoste will be a crucial witness. She asked him about childhood memories. I really hope that... I hope Jeff, after this is all over, will go on and be a guest for some of us. That would be totally, totally awesome. I think it would be so cool. Hey, Grish, thank you. You're so sweet. I love Grish. He's so unique. Definitely cool. Lots of investigative, interesting avenues you've gone down. I appreciate them. They get my mind spinning for sure. He's got some cool theories out there, so go check him out. STS didn't say anything. What happened is that I had put up a scheduled live. Excuse me. And after I put up the live with Stephen Webster, which was kind of a big deal, they put up a live with the Catherine Magbanua juror. And for all I know, Joel wasn't even watching my little channel. He might not have been like, oh, let me make sure Moms for Justice. I mean, I doubt he even cared to look. So Joel didn't do anything wrong. But anyway, it was a bummer, right? Because we both had an Adelson style live going at the same time. But it's okay. My live went great. I was really happy with it. And it's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. So, right? Arrest her and then prepare. I mean, you could take like a year, like you did for, the others. How long did it take for Charlie? I forgot. I'm trying to think how long it was. I don't remember, but it wasn't quick, I don't think, so. Hey, Betsy, I like your name. Thank you. Welcome to Moms for Justice. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button. So I really hope that I could get Jeff on here. That would be amazing. That would be so amazing. And I'm trying to get June Umchinda on here because I love June Umchinda and I just so want to just chat with her. Maybe she'll go on the other podcast I got going. You know, I'll be like, it doesn't have to be true crime. We could just kind of like chill out and talk about our Louis Vuittons. You know, that would be so awesome. But I really like June, and I feel so bad for June. I think she got the crappy end of the stick, and she just landed in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's true, because Clarissa, I love you, girl. You're so smart. You are correct. They will not arrest her early because her attorney may ask for a speedy trial, because you have a right to a speedy trial. Absolutely. You're right. That might be why. So what are you guys thinking now? How about Harvey? I mean, there's some stuff on Harvey. Rick, you better email me if you can do that. Seriously? I would worship the ground you walked on. That would be so amazing. Yeah. So June was lucky because, Bree ended up having the baby. And so I am we follow each other. June. I follow her. And she's got this cute little doggy. She got a new doggy. And she's one of those women that carries the doggy around with her everywhere and has matching outfits. And she's got pink this, pink that. She's traveling all over. She's a realtor. She does really, really well for herself. She eats at the fanciest places. She went to the Versace mansion. And I looked to see what she's up to. And the girl is living it up. So I don't think she is sweating Charlie anymore. I do suspect when she testified at Charlie's trial that it was hard for her, and I think it brought back memories to her, but I don't know until I ask her and I find out if I was right about that. But she's living it up, that girl, and she is cute and funny and all those things. So wait, receive flowers and candies from who? Bluebell, do tell. Bluebell, who did Georgia receive flowers and candy from yesterday? And there was a grand jury meeting yesterday. Does anybody know the cases that were discussed at this grand jury meeting? I would love to know. So I'm assuming you're talking about Harvey. He's dangerous, and I hope they're keeping an eye on him. Yeah, I mean, when he got up and spoke, guys, I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Because I was totally expecting this really feeble, kind of introverted, I don't make decisions in my family kind of guy. And when he got up and started speaking, I was scared. I was a little scared of him. Tamara, hi, girl. Harvey could get nailed over the fact that his business paid for the hit, checks, and car given to Katie. Plus, he went on the money drop and was fleeing the country. It's enough. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Circumstantial, but very bad. Okay, Tattletale says, is it true Wendy doesn't have to get indicted at grand jury to be arrested? I believe that they have to get an indictment from the grand jury. I don't know anything different than that. Hold on. me see. You cannot be indicted for first-degree murder without going to the grand jury. All capital crimes must be presented to one for an indictment. For other crimes, the state attorney can file charges without a grand jury. I just pulled that up. And that's in Florida. So, if they went for what? A conspiracy charge? I don't know. I'm not an attorney. What? That can't be, though. Donna was arrested before there was an indictment? That can't be because I just pulled this up. MiamiSAO.com. In Florida, a person cannot be indicted for first-degree murder without going to a grand jury. And as all capital crimes must be presented to one for an indictment. For other crimes, the state attorney can file charges without a grand jury. They can arrest you on second degree, correct. Okay. Crunchy says it too. Interesting. Matt, the guy who was building the house in Vietnam, said he was on vacation and Harvey came up to him yelling at him about owing him money. I wasn't surprised Harvey would act the way he did at the trial. Yeah, well, because they gave it's Scott Radius, right? Scott Radius, I believe his wife or girlfriend or significant other is Vietnamese. And that's the connection there about Vietnam. And Charlie gave like $100,000+ as like a, I don't know if it was full payment or like a down payment on something. But then when everything went down, they wanted their money back. Scott didn't give it back to them. And we never heard from Scott, so we don't know why. Please, Carolyn, do a show with Judy, a legal focus. You both Adelson. Thank you so much. Yeah, reach out to her too. Maybe we could do something together. That would be awesome. I like Judy. She's fun to watch, and I love her loophole lawyer combo videos she's been doing. Yes, I heard the grand jury met yesterday. That's what I was told, but I don't know what came of it. Who sent the flowers? Did she write back? I missed it. Hold on, let me see. Did anybody see if she wrote back about the flowers? Who sent flowers to Georgia yesterday? Please let me know. Spill it. Yeah, that was like the biggest thing for me is when Harvey got up and spoke and called Ruth and Phil liars. Just you're not winning any points talking like that about two old people who lost their son to a brutal murder and then had their grandchildren ripped away from them. No. Not gonna happen. Judy sent the flowers. Now, why did Judy send the flowers? I got to go on her channel, find out why. Does anybody know why? Just because of, was there another case from the grand jury yesterday? Or maybe something happened with Wendy yesterday? Maybe? And she sent her flowers? This is interesting. Very interesting. Wow. So I have a licensed trauma specialist, social worker that is going to come on the show and talk to us about the impact that the murder of Dan Markel has had on the boys. I'm going to have her on. Her name is Miss Carrie. She is a licensed trauma specialist, social worker that deals with children from trauma backgrounds. She has dealt with every scenario you can think of, and she wants to come on the show and talk about and answer any questions you guys might have about what the kids might know, how this has affected them, and any clues she can find based on the evidence about the relationship between Wendy and the boys. So that is interesting. I'm really looking forward to having her on. It's going to be great. I also plan on also having her on the Menendez brothers and the abuse of the Menendez brothers, but she is going to come on about the Markel boys. Oh, what's this? Okay, so nobody can tell me why she sent her the flowers. Tell me, did Loophole Lawyer tell Judy that she has to wear a bikini if she loses a bet about when Wendy will be arrested? Because that's hilarious. That would be so funny. Oh my gosh, I would die laughing. All right, I want to go on the show when she's wearing the bikini. That is so sweet. That is so amazing. Well, if this guy, what's his name again? I forgot his name already again. I already said it before. But if this guy's right about a Thanksgiving arrest, Judy's going to lose the bet, right? Is it Judy that's saying that it won't be till December 31st? That's hilarious. That's so funny. And Vince would have to go shirtless. I'll pass, Vince. He's already talked about girls that have bangs, that he doesn't think they look good. Thank you, Beverly. You're so sweet. She says Beverly says I'm not annoying. That's good. Thank you, Bev. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Okay, so Judy says it'll happen before January 1st, and Vince is saying it's not happening. Okay, I got it. Got it. Well, I'm watching that episode. Not that I want to see Judy in a bikini. It's just I want to see how awkward that is. Like how funny that would be to be sitting. Can you imagine me sitting here in a bikini top? That would be hilarious. That would be so funny. Can I wear a cover up? I'd be like, can I have a cover up too? Love it. So funny. They are really funny together. I agree. All right. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Did you guys like the video? Subscribe. Make sure you guys are sharing the channel. I would so appreciate it. I have a membership below. It says join right next to it. And then in the description box is the Chitter Chatter podcast. It is now up. We're only at 400 subs. Help me get to 1,000. I would so appreciate it. Jocelyn and I want to get going on that. We want to start doing our live streams and talking just about anything, right? It'll be so fun. Anyway, I love you guys. This was a really fun episode. A lot of stuff to unpack. Hopefully you learned something new today. And yeah, that's it. Oh, I will see you guys next time. Love you guys. Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.